Hello, everybody. My name is Gary, and today I'm going to be talking about the generative artificial intelligence report. We all know that AI is a great tool, helps you create documents, images, and a bunch of other stuff. But we know that while there's good sides to it, there's also plenty of bad use cases, and we got to figure out how to prevent those and mitigate it as much as we can. Let's get into it. So there's a bunch of ways that these attackers and other risks that are posed by AI, generative AI. So some of the main risk areas are that like the AIs can make the scams look a lot more realistic compared to what they were before. The AI can help the attackers work a lot faster than they were able to as well. And employees are more prone to exposing their private data to the generative AI, as well as just bad answers from AI because it's hallucinating, and that could lead to bad decisions being made by the company. So those are just some of the risks that are associated with it. So some of the strategic goals and objectives that organizations should work towards is going to be reducing the number of successful attacks that can happen. And to do that, we got to train staff, use MFA, stronger access controls, and monitor what's happening with our systems to lower the chances of a successful attack. We got to protect sensitive data. So limit the amount of access and don't just let people use AI to access this data, right? As well as use AI safety. So before the tools that the employees are using, we should be vetting them and making sure that they actually meet like security and privacy requirements. But lastly, if let's say anything does happen, we should be on top of it to improve like the incident response. So as soon as something happens, we should have something in place to go right after it. So how do we measure that if you have a plan in place? So first thing, we want to make sure that everybody is completing any AI related training or cybersecurity training that we have in place. Phishing results, we should be doing testing on like sending an email out to employees and making sure they're not clicking on links they're not supposed to. We should be tracking the number of AI related security problems that happen, as well as how fast we are able to respond to any of those incidences. And just lastly, just double checking that employees are using AI tools that are approved and not anything that isn't authorized. So, who are the cybersecurity threat actors that businesses have to worry using generative AI against them? So, firstly, cyber criminals. They want money. They're going to try using AI for phishing, ransomware, sending fake invoices that look real, identity theft, and other scams. So, one of the examples is we've seen so many of the articles where people are creating fake videos or they're using fake generated audio to send it to people to get them to send over money. And since it sounds like somebody that they might know, it's a lot more believable for the person falling for the scam. So that's one of them. Nation state attackers, if your businesses are associated with important stuff, there's going to be people who are going to use AI to try to spy on your organization. They're going to try sending more phishing attacks. Another one is going to be the insider threats. So just your employees, whether it be on purpose or the like just on accident, they might use the AI to generate stuff, tools, and other information documents. But they might be putting that stuff into the AI, which is going to allow that information to escape from your organization into different, into the cloud, basically. So some of the stuff that we should be protecting from these attacks using generative AI is going to be customer data. First of all, just names, addresses, payment details, account information. We don't want that getting out there. Employee data as well, people's personal information. You might have their social security numbers, tax records, and a bunch of other information. Financial systems, your banking, payments, company secrets, where business plans, if you have source code, customer lists. emails and accounts. If they have access to your email or account, they might have access to everything else in your system. So, cybersecurity is basically a shared responsibility, right? We have the executives who are going to be getting the funding for all the tools we have. IT, checking the systems are going as they should, they're not being attacked. Employees follow the rules, make sure you're using approved tools. HR and legal, the training, like make sure they have the training in place and any policies. And managers also making sure their teams are using only AI tools. And then lastly, customers are also important to make sure that they're not creating any risks either. So every person in an organization has a role to protect the data. So lastly, to go over everything again. So how can we reduce these threats? So main attack methods are going to be AI phishing, where they're creating realistic emails and messages. So protection against that, staff training, MFA, and make sure you're verifying the requests that are coming from real people and people from inside your organizations. Deepfakes, so people using fake voice, videos, and images to try to fool people into thinking that they're somebody else. For that, make sure you have a different way of confirming. I've said this in multiple of our assignments where if somebody's contacting you saying they're your IT, hang up, call back your actual number that you have on file. That way you know you can confirm. Malicious code. So with the generative AI, it's allowing these people who have had no knowledge to just come up with hacking tools. So you got to make sure that you're patching and monitoring your systems to make sure they're not being affected by all this. Prompt injection. So make sure, same thing, just have everything be not just automated. Like AI shouldn't just be able to have access to your system without human approval. And false AI answers, lastly, just make sure you are double checking information that AI is giving us. Because as we all know, it is not 100% correct and it loves to hallucinate. So these are just some of the ways that we can protect ourselves from AI, generative AI, as a business. Thank you.